Hi, my name is Becca Johnson, and I'm a preschool teacher at Fairview Early Childhood Center in the Rockford Public Schools. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience of how I became a teacher. I grew up in Rockford and went to elementary schools in RPS 205. I went to Gregory for kindergarten, and then I was in the gifted program and went to King and Washington at the time. I ended up going to Rockford Christian for high school and then decided to go to the U of I in Champaign for my undergraduate degree. I liked it so much that I decided to stay there and get my master's degree in special ed. And more recently, I joined a group of other preschool teachers in getting my ESL certificate through NIU. So how did I decide that I wanted to be a teacher? I grew up in a home where my mom was a teacher. She taught preschool and elementary school. And so I always had that firsthand experience of what a behind the scenes would look like if I were a teacher. And I saw how much she loved working with kids and the fun things that they would do every day at school. And so I started thinking about how a lot of the things that I enjoyed doing, like being a camp counselor, babysitting, nannying, they all involved kids. And the parts that I really liked was planning activities for them to do and getting to know them really well. So as I was looking into college, I applied for elementary ed, or working as a teacher was just the education college looked like something I would want to do. So what was college like as an early childhood major? In high school, I took some AP classes and some dual credit classes through Rock Valley. And if you haven't done that, I would definitely recommend it. Or even taking some classes at Rock Valley in the summer could help before you go to college. Because I did that, my class load didn't have to be stacked with 6 or 7 classes a semester. I was able to either drop one if it was too difficult or spread them out so that I had enough time to take the classes that I needed to for my degree. My first 2 years at U of I were mostly gen ed classes, and those are the classes that everyone takes, or they have a variety of different classes to take. So you'll have classes with people from all different majors, and you get to meet a lot of different people who have different goals. But then the 2 years at the end of my degree, when I was a junior and senior in college, were all early childhood courses. And so there was a small group of us who were all wanting to get early childhood degrees, and we would take all the classes together, and we got to be very close. And that was really neat at a big school to have a group of 20 of us all wanting to become preschool teachers in the future. So how did I decide that I wanted to continue and go to grad school? I had heard that becoming a teacher and then going back to get my master's would be really tough if I started teaching, because getting out of the routine of taking classes and working on papers and things would be different if I had a full-time job at the same time. So I decided that I wanted to go to grad school right away after college. I also realized that when I was student teaching, and that is when you take over a classroom for a short amount of time to get that firsthand experience of what it's like to be a teacher, I realized that in preschool especially, it's the kid's first time away from home, and there's a lot of diagnostic stuff going on where if a kid needs extra support or help, a lot of times we're the first person who might be seeing that and being there to support them or help them with that. So in getting an IEP and getting speech, OT, PT, all those types of things. So I wanted to get more experience in that so I could be a better teacher in the future. So when I was in grad school, I was really happy to be able to teach in a laboratory school at the same time. I was then able to write papers and do projects based on the experiences that I was gaining at the same time in a classroom. And then after grad school, I ended up taking over one of those classrooms in Champaign and was the preschool teacher there for 2 years. It was really neat to get to learn from all these master teachers that were around me. There were professors and researchers coming in and out of the classroom too, and I just was able to learn so much from them. And then that brought me to the Rockford Public Schools. I've been teaching in RPS for 9 years. And my first year, I accepted a position in a preschool classroom, but it was a Spanish-speaking preschool classroom in an elementary school. And that didn't seem like the perfect fit for me because I didn't have my bilingual degree, and I hadn't really spoken Spanish since high school Spanish class. And so I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but I just tried my very best, and I relied a lot on my paraprofessional that was in the classroom to help me learn conversational Spanish, and I just continued to learn and learn the more that I was speaking with my students and the adults around me at the school, and tried my very best. At the end of the year, I had the opportunity to go to an English-speaking preschool classroom and have been there ever since. I just encourage you that sometimes if you have in mind that you really want to be second grade or really want to be first grade or anything like that, sometimes you might not get it right away, but it'll open the door to get it later or give you an experience that you'll cherish later on as well. So now I've been at Fairview for about 8 years, and I really love it because it's a center where every classroom is teaching preschool. So everyone has the same mindset of things that are preschool oriented, like the bicycles and the trikes that are on the playground are all made for 3 and 4 year olds. It's nothing's too big, too small. All the teachers are helping one another and have great experiences to share. So, some questions you might want to ask if you're thinking about maybe becoming a teacher. Some attributes that might be helpful is if you like learning, adapting, and leading, because no year or even week in a preschool classroom or any classroom really is going to be the same. It's not going to be, your students are always changing, the world around you is always changing, and making new lessons that fit the needs and differentiate to meet the needs of your students is really important. So if you like learning and leading groups of people, teaching might be for you. Another very important part about being a teacher is being reflective on your words and actions and being open to change. I think every year there's been big changes in curriculum or the way that the school does things, and you just have to be open to those changes. If you're organized and you enjoy arranging furniture and events, teaching might be good for you as well, because we set up our classrooms in ways to meet the needs of our students and provide them with opportunities to explore and learn things in ways that motivate them. So especially in preschool, we set up the classroom in a way where they can work and play together. So you have to set up the room how you want it to be, with like a science area, with a block area, dramatic play, art, all different types of areas, reading area, cozy area, all those things all in one space so that the kids can learn together and grow. You better like children if you're going to be spending every day with them. And it might sound silly, but I've heard from a lot of friends that it wasn't until student teaching, when they were working with kids, that they realized that that wasn't really the role that they wanted to be playing. And so some of them then became administrators or working with on the curriculum end of teaching or education, or going on to get their PhD and becoming a professor. So make sure that you like being in a school environment when you're thinking about becoming a teacher. And if you want to make an impact on your community, being a teacher is a great way to do that. You're working with so many families and so many children, and it's very gratifying to see them grow up and hopefully see them in the future as they go into elementary school and high school and go on in life in Rockford or other communities around the state and country. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at rebecca.a.johnson@rps205.com if you'd like to become an early childhood teacher. If you have any questions or if you'd like to come visit, you're always welcome. Thanks.